and voted separately because I have comments and I am not voting. My intention is not to vote yes for that.
If I could speak to that one, because I saw your email and your concerns, and Rich has also raised some things in the same, at least some overlap in what you raised. I want to just clarify, and I talked to Tony about this, that the chief of staff title in no way is meant or will confer any executive authority to Mary, to the person that has that title. It's merely an acknowledgement of the expanded duties. When it comes to attending some sort of a meeting or other duties that require that level of presence, and Tony can't make it, we've got the deputy supervisor mechanism for that. We also have the ability to assign proxies from the board, or various mechanisms for that. So just to be clear that there's nothing in this that conveys that kind of executive or policy authority.
Are we making comments on it now? Because it's gonna have to be voted for separately since I'm not voting for it.
Yeah, so we could take a vote now, right?
Well, I have
That's-
comments still. I
that's-
just wanted to
Okay,
ask.
so we're under discussion, so,
You have a motion in a second and there's discussion underway.
right,
So whether-
Right.
the motion's either got to be voted or withdrawn after the discussion. is
Right.
concluded.
okay.
So we can continue. Okay.
So you ready to take a vote?
Sure.
All right. As Dan had indicated, I had sent an email to the rest of the town board regarding this change of title. And I'm going to read a portion of my email just so that it's clear to the public where I stand on the change of the title of confidential secretary to the supervisor to chief of staff. First, although this should not in any way be considered a promotion. That's not what this is. This would be considered a lateral move and just a change of the title, because then the name or the title confidential secretary, we all agree, I believe that that's an outdated job description, an outdated title. That said, although we understand this is not a promotion, and hopefully this nuance will not be lost on the public, putting aside, I believe that the chief of staff title implies that this position would oversee or would be, or would indicate that that person be in charge of the staff of the entire town. Now, as we heard Dan explain, that is, I believe that is not the case. It is my understanding that this title is only intended to mean chief of staff to the office of the supervisor. And therefore it would mean that this position would be chief to only a staff of one, which would be to the person who currently holds the title confidential secretary. So that one reason in and of itself, I don't think it's the appropriate title for this particular position. Sorry. No, it's all good. Glasses. Although this title may be more appropriate for other towns, we know that Lewisboro is not like other towns. It may need a job title that is more fitting for this particular position. I would therefore suggest a title such as executive assistant to the supervisor's office, or executive administrator to the supervisor, or even executive administrative assistant to the supervisor. That is a title I could get on board with. The chief of staff title, I do not believe is the appropriate title for this position. Finally, regardless of the title chosen for this position, I cannot agree, although it was suggested in the description of duties that was shared with the board, I cannot agree that a person holding this appointed position to be permitted to sit in on calls, meetings, et cetera, in place of the supervisor when the supervisor cannot attend or has a conflict. I think the description of deputy supervisor clearly lays out that this is what a deputy supervisor is expected to do. And if the deputy supervisor is not also available, then I believe that one of the other town board members should then stand in. It seems that when the town is being represented in such an official capacity, it should be an elected official who was elected to do just that, and to allow and not to have an appointed employee stand in that position. So to me, that is wrong. So if we could come to some sort of consensus on a more acceptable job title, And we could exclude the portion where the person who holds that title represents the town in that official capacity, but all other duties as outlined by the supervisor to us, I could get on board and vote, but in its current state, I cannot. That's all.
I just speak briefly. I had some concerns about it. I spoke at length with the supervisor about it, and that resulted in just putting down the job descriptions, which I asked for, which was done. And then had some follow-up issues or concerns, which Dan addressed in his capacity as deputy supervisor and clarified, exactly what it is and what it's not. So with that information that I received in response to my questions, I'm going to vote yes for the motion.
Yeah, do you have anything to add?
No.
Okay. So we have a second,
Are we done with discussion?
we're done with discussion. So now do we need a
Just a regular vote.
or?
You can
Well,
lie.
I can't, then I'd have to by name vote no to all of it. Because the motion that's on the floor
Correct.
is to
It's
accept
a
all
motion
of
of
it.
appointments.
Right, okay.
So if
The
you would
motion
like-
either has to be voted the way it is or withdrawn.
Right, so the motion is for the entirety of the staff appointments as indicated here in this document. The one thing I'd like to point out, there is a dog control officer, which was excluded from the original agenda that went out, so that's the only other change here. Everything else stays the same except the assignment of the Wild Oaks Administrator and Oak Ridge Sewer and Water Administrator. That used to be Leo. And in conversation with him, he recommended that I take those on. So,
So again,
So the-
I'm going to request
Okay.
that the motion be withdrawn and a new motion be made for us to vote for all the appointments, but for
Mhm.
the designation of chief of staff, and vote on that separately, since that's the only one that I would vote no to. But also, I thought that we would have to vote as a majority to create the position to start before you could appoint someone to it. So we would have to do that anyway.
Right.
Am I right?
The position's got to be created. It doesn't exist in
Right.
the office. as
So
it
we would have
stands.
to do
So
that anyway.
so motion to create the position
But we're
of,
still in the
You have to
middle.
have-
well,
you want to amend the
So-
motion, you'd have to amend it
okay,
for the
So-
appointment and to create the position and fill it.
right.
If you
Okay,
wanted
so
to
I'm going to
vote it
amend the
this way.
motion to create the position of chief of staff to the supervisor's office and as amended.
Okay, so just for clarification.
Yeah.
I still have to vote no to the entire motion because you're voting on all the appointments.
Right.
I only want to vote no to one of them. So if we could do a separate motion where we vote for all those appointments. And then we handle the one with the confidential secretary being to create the position and then
Right.
appoint their two separate,
Okay,
then the record would be clear.
I'm fine to do
okay.
that.
So motion to create the chief of staff.
First you
Withdraw the motion for
and
accepting
then-
the staff appointments as,
And then do all the staff appointments with the exception
With the
of chief of
exception of-
staff and
okay.
and vote. And then do the creation
Okay.
and filling. If you don't mind.
no, that's fine. So that's good. So motion to create the chief of staff appointment.
But he said first
The
you have
other
to
way
do all
around.
the appointments first.
With the
So all the
exception of-
appointments, so
exception.
motion to accept all the staff appointments with the exception of the chief of staff / benefits administrator. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Yeah, but all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So the second motion will be a motion to create the chief of staff position to the office of the supervisor / benefits administrator.
And to presumably to fill it. You can
And
do it
to
in
fill
one-
it with the existing, right.
And to appoint Mary
secretary.
Hampton.
To appoint Mary Hampton to that position, correct.
So,
So do I have a
second,
second? Discussion? All in favor?
Discussion, just I want
Okay, just a-
clarification because
okay.
we've had two different, Dan had talked about the deputy supervisor in
Mhm.
that position of standing in for you when you're not available. Are we voting with it with the job description of allowing the new chief of staff to stand in for you, or are we
Yes.
voting for the, okay. All right, go ahead.
So do I have a second?
second.
Discussion?
Just to this is serves at the
With the term.
The
of
pleasure of the supervisor? Or
And with the term.
That's,
With the term of the
So this
supervisor.
position will have to be reappointed if you wanted next year at your organizational meeting.
okay, so it's at the pleasure of the supervisor and the supervisor's remaining term, which, right, that's what it is. Okay.
Right.
It's the remaining term or yearly?
No, it goes with the term of the supervisor. It should be with the term, 2 years.
So I had a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
Okay, next we have the appointment of committee members. First one is the Architecture Community Appearance Review Council. This is select a motion to reappoint the members, existing members of the Architecture and Community Appearance Review Council. Do I have a second?
Second,
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Well,
Um,
if we're doing this, can this be a block motion? If that's how you're doing it without specifying the members. Can you just the motion appointing all existing committee members for the following committees and do it as
I
well?
don't think we've ever done it that way, but
We never did the other one the other ways.
well, we have. The other one has always been done that way.
Okay.
But we could,
well, the thing is
I mean,
with the emergency,
We're good.
and there's some differences, I guess some changes, I believe, with some of these.
Yes, there are some
Yeah.
changes. I went through
So
it.
let's go,
So
let's
one
go
by
through it
one.
real quick.
Right.
So Board of Assessment Review. Let's see that Darren Mercer and Chris Winter are hereby reappointed as members of the Architecture Committee. Oh, we did that, sorry. That was the resolution for the ACOR. For 3-year terms ending December 31st. So we, again, discussion. Do I have a second?
no, we already did the architecture.
Yep.
We did it.
Yes, I'm reading the resolution. I should have, yeah, okay. So Board of Assessment Review. So the resolution here is to appoint Cal Kramer as a member of the Board Assessment Review for 5-year term ending September 30th, 2027. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? In favor?
Aye.
Aye. Cable TV Committee. This is a reappointment of Steve Shapiro as member of the Cable TV Committee for a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2025. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Are we on the screen?
Yeah, we're on this.
Oh,
Come
sorry.
super
Oh, that
long
was
time.
my second one.
This one,
Conservation Advisory Council.
it's page 3. Wait just a second.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you. Those are- sorry.
So the resolution here is that Sarah Picaro, Bob Sullivan, and Valencia Ondas are reappointed to the Conservation Advisory Council for 2-year terms expiring December 31st, 2024.
Second,
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
The Emergency Management Committee, this is a reappointment of Robert Ferrocci, Barbara Mangione, and Jennifer Daring.
and can we please add that, the
The deputy,
the deputy?
that follows, that's.
Oh,
coming up.
that's,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. So I have a second.
Yes,
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Next one is the Grant Advisory Committee. It's a reappointment of Robert Collins and Adam Oakes to the Grant Advisory Committee for 1-year term expiring December 31st, 2023. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Housing Committee, reappointment of Karen Conti and Linda Ray to the Housing Committee for 2-year terms and it's December 31st, 2024. Do I have a second?
second.
Um,
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want
That's
to do
okay,
it?
that's okay.
No,
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Next is the Open Space and Preserves Advisory Council. Reappointment of Callie Bauer, Joanne Hickey, Mike Surde, Mike Twitty, and Eric Swarthout for a term of 2 years expiring December 31st, 2024.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Parks and Rec, excuse me, Advisory Council. Reappointment of Jennifer Kaya and Valerie Cancro to a term of 2 years expiring December 31st, 2024. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
The Pedestrian and Bicycle Advisory Committee, this is the reappointment of Danielle Greenberg as a member of the Pedestrian Bicycle Advisory Committee for a 4-year term expiring December 31st, 2026. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Stormwater Management Committee, this is a reappointment of Joel Smith, Peter Bridger, Janet Anderson, Paul Lewis, and James Donalowicz to a term of 2 years expiring December 31st, 2024. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
The Sustainability Committee, reappointment of Sarah Coccaro, Christopher Coccaro, and Jessica Gallagher to 2-year terms expiring December 31st, 2024. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
The Veterans Advisory Committee, this is a reappointment of John Lemke as a member and chair of the Veterans Advisory Committee for a 2-year term expiring December 31st, 2024. Do I have a second?
Second. Oh.
All good.
Okay, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
I'll still talk to you.
All on there.
So Rich, you get to motion this next one, the appointment of chairpersons of committees, councils, and boards.
Good. Move to appoint various chairpersons of committees, councils, and boards as follows. Advisory Committee for the Disabled, Alexander Morris. Antenna Advisory Board, Joseph New. Architecture and Community Appearance Review Council, Rose Banana. Board of Assessment Review, Lawrence Mandleker. Cable Television Advisory Committee, Dean Travelino. Conservation Advisory Council, John Wolf. Emergency Management Committee, Adam Oakes and Dan Deputy. Housing Committee, Linda Presswolf and Linda Ray. Landmarks Advisory Committee, W. Theodore Strauss. Parks and Recreation Advisory Council in Harris. Pedestrian and Bicycle Advisory Committee, Doris Peter. Planning Board, Janet Anderson. Stormwater Management Committee, Paul Lewis. Sustainability Committee, Christopher Coccaro. Veterans Advisory Committee, John Lemke. Zoning Board of Appeals, Robin Price Jr.
Well done.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Next is appointments, approvals, and authorizations for, first item is the procurement policy. Motion to adopt the procurement policy as amended on October 24, 2016. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
The next one is, hold on a second, fee schedule, yes. The town's fee schedule as last amended on May 24, 2021.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Next is the authorization to provide for in-state travel to the supervisor, town board members, and other municipal officials and employees for attendance at annual meetings and training sessions. And be it further resolved that said municipal officials and employees of the town shall submit a request for attendance at such meetings along with an estimate of cost to the town board in advance of such meeting. And that the attendee be reimbursed by the town for reasonable budgeted expenses incurred by their attendance at the meeting/training sessions. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Next one here is memberships to professional organizations for 2023. That they are approved and required and the dues be paid. This is an authority to join the organization and pay the dues. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
The Association of Towns, this is a motion to provide the authority to join and pay dues, training school, reappointment of delegate and alternate. Resolution is that the town board does hereby approve the continuation of membership of the town of Lewisboro in the Association of Towns for 2023 and pay the annual membership dues in the amount of $1,500. And further resolve that Supervisor Gonsalves is hereby appointed as a 2023 delegate and Councilman Dan Welsh is hereby reappointed as the 2022 alternate delegate.
2023.
2023, sorry. And are authorized to vote on behalf of the town of Lewisboro at the annual meetings and training school of the Association of Towns of New York State to be held at the New York Marriott Marquis, February 19th to the 22nd, 2023. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Parks and Rec, the setting of seasonal salary ranges. The resolution that the motion that the 2023 part-time seasonal staff salary ranges as proposed by the Parks and Rec supervisor in a memo dated January 9th, 2023 is hereby approved. Do I have a second? Well,
Oh, second.
discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Rate set. This is motion that all town employees and elected officials should be reimbursed for use of a personal vehicle for town business when the town-owned vehicle is not available for use at the per mile rate set by the IRS. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion, all in favor? Aye. The kennel, this is authorizing the supervisor to sign a one-year agreement for a term expiring December 31st, 2023 between the town and the South Solomon Animal Hospital that provides for holding and sheltering dogs in accordance with the provisions of the New York State Agriculture and Market Law, and in accordance with provisions of Chapter 105 of the Code of the Town of Lewisboro at a cost of South Solomon Animal Hospital's going rate for 24 hours or part thereof, and $37 if dog belongs to the town of Lewisboro and is waiting to be adopted out. Said approval subject to council's review of the agreement. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Let's see, the next one is authorizing the supervisor to sign the 2023 agreement with the Lewisboro Library. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye.
Oh,
This is a motion to the for the town board to designate the Record Review as the official newspaper for the town of Lewisboro, along with the Journal News, which is a daily paper, as an alternative paper. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
I have a question.
Sure.
We have another paper in town. Is there some reason why that's never been given the opportunity? Is it, do they take notices or I don't even know?
KL Times.
Yeah.
Which is,
I don't-
I don't think.
no, okay.
I know Town Ridge and Bedford both.
Right, well, it's
Mhm.
just a question. I was just curious. Thank you.
Let's see, the next is,
We need to.
oh, sorry,
There's a second.
all in favor? Was there a second?
Yeah.
There was, yeah. Yeah, so all in favor?
Aye.
The next is, let's see, the designation of the banks, JP Morgan Chase's Signature Bank, approved as depositories for town funds during the year 2023. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion to approve the bank depository agreements, and that the supervisor here is hereby authorized to sign bank depository agreements. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And the comptroller, the motion includes town supervisor and the town comptroller to sign, right? Authorized to make transfer. Oh, is that the next one?
That's the next week. That's finance
Okay.
transfer authorization. So, yeah, the next motion is to, that the town supervisor and the town controller are hereby authorized to make transfers of funds not to exceed $10,000 a month among the appropriation lines of 2023 town budget. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Authorization to purchase tools. This is a motion that pursuant to section 142 of the highway law, the superintendent of highways of the town of Lewisboro is hereby authorized to purchase equipment, tools, and other implements to be used for highway maintenance, construction, or reconstruction during 2023, subject to the limitations of budgetary appropriations and public bidding requirements. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Next is a motion that pursuant to the provisions of section 284 of the highway law, the agreement to spend town highway funds budgeted for the year 2023 as presented to the town board by the superintendent of highways is hereby approved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Next is the highway department. It's a motion that the annual highway estimate and budget for 2023 as presented by the superintendent of highways hereby is approved. Do I have a second?
Second,
Discussion? All in favor? Aye.
I should probably abstain since I didn't vote for the budget. I'm abstaining. Not abstaining to Peter Rippinger.
Abstaining to the one we just.
Well, because I
Yeah,
voted
because
no
you
on the
voted on the
budget.
budget.
That's all. It's nothing to do with the highways proposed budget.
Right, okay. Date set, this is for the town board meeting, so motion at the town board meetings for the town of Lewisboro shall normally take place on the second and fourth Mondays of the month. Such meetings will normally be held at the Townhouse, 11 Main Street, South Salem, New York, or at the Lewisboro Library, 15 Main Street, South Salem, New York, at 7:30 p.m. Additional meetings will be held as the board deems necessary. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
aye,
Liaisons, let's see, a motion, oh, this is, yes, so,
Dan has.
Dan, I'll let you do that motion.
okay. Bottom of this thing here.
So it's basically, yeah.
Well, okay, I'll just make it up.
Yeah,
I move that we accept that we establish the town board liaisons as set forth in the script here.
Was the script part of the record?
No, the script is not part of the record, is it?
No, it's not.
So do I have to read them out? Okay.
So you're gonna have to
I
add
move
lib.
I move that
Town
we
board.
establish the town board liaisons to the various committees and departments as follows. Advisory Committee for the Disabled, Mary Shaw. Architectural and Community Appearance Review Council, Andrea Rendo. Antenna Advisory Board, Tony Gonzalez. Assessor's Office Board of Assessment Review, Andrea Rendo. Benefits Administration Department, Mary Shaw. Building Department, Tony Gonzalez. Cable Television Committee, Andrea Rendo. Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee, Andrea Rendo. Conservation Advisory Council, CAC, Mary Shaw. Note that the Plan Steering Committee was actually both of us, I think, at the time.
It is.
Yeah,
That's what I was
so
just saying.
is it, yeah, so that's
Okay.
right, that's right, I thought there was.
as amended, yeah.
Yeah,
so
Dan to the Comprehensive Plan Steering
Committee, Andrew Rendo and Dan Welch, Conservation Advisory Council, CAC, Mary Shaw, Court pursuant to Uniform Justice Court 219-A, Richard Sclaren, East of Hudson Watershed Corporation, Tony Gonzalez, Emergency Management Committee, Tony Gonzalez and Mary Shaw, Ethics Board, Andrea Rendo, Finance Department, Tony Gonzalez, Grants Committee, Richard Sclaren, Highway Department, Richard Sclaren, Housing Committee, Dan Welsh, Lewisboro School Board, Tony Gonzalez and Mary Shaw, Labor Negotiations, Richard Sclaren, Landmarks Advisory Committee, Andrea Rendo, Library, Mary Shaw, Maintenance Department, Tony Gonzalez, Oak Ridge and Wild Oak Water Sewer District, OWD.
That's
Oh, Oak Ridge.
That's water
Oak
waste.
Ridge. OWD is Oak Ridge wastewater.
It should actually be both Oak Ridge Water
Water District and Wild Oats.
and waste and Oak Ridge wastewater. So it's Oak Ridge Water and wastewater. That's
Oak
right.
Ridge, okay, Oak Ridge wastewater and water district is Tony Gonzalez and Andrea Rendo. Wild Oaks Sewer District is Richard Sclaren. Open Space and Preserves Advisory Committee, OSPAC, Dan Welsh. Parks and Recreation Advisory Council, Mary Shaw. Parks and Recreation Department, Mary Shaw. Pedestrian and Bicycle Advisory Committee, Dan Welsh. Planning Board, Richard Sclaren. Police Department, Andrew Rendo. Sustainability Committee / Recycling Department, Dan Welsh. Stormwater Management Committee, Dan Welsh. Tax Receiver's Office, Tony Gonzalez. Town Clerk's Office, Tony Gonzalez. Veterans Advisory Committee, Tony Gonzalez, and Zoning Board of Appeals, Mary Shaw. So I would second.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Okay.
Ooh,
So that
Go back to the regular
that
agenda.
ends the organization meeting. I think that before we start the regular meeting, I just want to introduce, the board has already met her, but Nisha Singh is our new town controller. So she's here, welcome.
Maybe everyone and we have to be there and be a part of town. Really excited to work for.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
She's been here since December 27th was your start date,
Yes.
and been working with Leo on.
And she's still here, so
transition.
that's
She's
a
still
good
here, so
sign.
that's-
Excellent.
And she's here late today, so
She's been on the job since last year.
since last year, that's right. But thank you, Nisha. Thanks for being here. And if you want to stay, you can. You're more than welcome, but you can also leave because I know you have 2 young children.
Very good organization and I'm very happy to be a part.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Great.
you.
It's gonna be
Okay,
fun.
excellent. Okay, we start with communications, regular meeting. There's communication from the Conservation Advisory Council.
Their annual report.
It's their annual report, correct? That's Mary Shaw.
Yeah. The Conservation Advisory Council presents its annual report for the 2022 to the town of Lewisboro as required by state law. The CAC is comprised of volunteers appointed to the town board to work on conservation issues that are important to the town and its residents. Since town residents get their water from local wells and lakes, the residents of Lewisboro are members of lake communities. The CAC recognizes the importance that town residents put on protecting water resources. As our role demands, we work together on the committee to preserve and protect Lewisboro's environment during its water courses and wetlands. The CAC meets monthly on the first or second Monday of each month. Meetings are open to the public and agendas are posted to the town website prior to each meeting. Minutes for all the meetings are available through the town code and posted on the town website. Preparation of the draft CAC memos is shared among the members, and reviews, comments, and revisions of the memos and minutes take place by email. For 2022, the COVID-19 pandemic, the CAC continued to meet as a virtual meeting using Zoom. A notice for the public to be able to attend was placed both in the Record Review newspaper and in the CAC agenda, which is posted on the town website. Zoom information is included on the agenda, posted on the town website, or can be obtained from the CAC chair. During 2022, the CAC operated with 7 members through April and then 9 thereafter. 2 new members were approved by the board in April and joined the committee, for the May meeting. Attendance for the year was 86% among active members, 3 CAC members plus the chair. Terms expire at the end of 2022. All 3 have indicated desire to remain on the CAC and will be recommended for renewal to the town board. We are dependent on the appointment or reappointment of capable, knowledgeable, and committed members with environmental interests and adequate time to support CAC activities. During 2022, the CAC issued 22 letters to the planning board concerning applications or issues before the board. In addition, the CAC provided a letter of support for the town's Bridge New York grant application. Public attendance continued to be higher than pre-COVID years. This is primarily due to the virtual access via Zoom and the enhanced publication of the CAC meeting dates and times. The CAC representative, generally the chair, attends and participates in planning board meetings. This participation at the planning board meetings enables the CAC to express their views on applications, environmental issues, and to stay informed on the activities in front of that board. 4 members participated in the 4 site visits. Attendance at the walks enables more insightful comments by the CAC. While a number of the letters is one indicator of activity, a more important parameter may be the ability to provide informed advice. We believe that the CAC has continued to build a trusted and respected advisory relationship with the planning board regarding conservation and environmental issues. We are gratified that the members of the planning board solicit and thoroughly consider our input. As a result, many of the CAC recommendations have been incorporated into the applicant's plans and into the approved resolutions. The CAC also reaches out to other boards and committees in addition to the planning board. CAC provides environmental views, opinions, and other information to the town board. In 2021, the CAC presented a draft tree removal ordinance at the request of the town board, which was passed with minor modifications. In April 2022, the CAC reviewed the effectiveness of the ordinance and found no permits had been issued. The number of violations came to the attention of members of the CAC and were communicated to the building inspector, who has enforcement responsibilities. Two things became clear with the enforcement of the tree ordinance. First, much of the public was not aware of the ordinance, and second, the building department, being overwhelmed by its other duties, had a difficult time enforcing the ordinance. The CAC has taken the following actions to help enhance the effectiveness of the ordinance. A website has been added to the town website with a direct URL, lewisborotreeordinance.com. A postcard mailing was sent to the town residents informing them of the ordinance, and its highlights, it's providing with links to its pertinent town website pages. And the CAC is proposing changes to the current ordinance to clarify an issue with new construction sites, align with the ordinance with Westchester County on licensing, and make the ordinance consistent with current special character district policy on tree removal. Main issue with successful tree removal ordinance continues to be enforcement and enforcement resources. Regarding town committees, CAC is very active with the OSPAC and reports to CAC on their activities. The CAC has contacts with the Parks and Recs Advisory Council Committee to share information and discuss items of mutual interest. Our newest member is also active on the Sustainability Committee. CAC Chair is a member of the Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee. The CAC members provided input to the Comprehensive Plan consultant in October 2022. The CAC continues to publicize the town septic law that requires inspection every 5 years. The information is available on the CAC page of the Lewisboro website and has been recently updated, and the new septic system map replaces the one that is more than 5 years old. In conjunction with the Stormwater Committee, a poster describing the requirements and enforcement dates, and a map of the septic systems that have been pumped recently is displayed at the office of the building inspector. The Westchester County Executive, George Latimer, attended the February CAC meeting. The Lewisboro CAC members continue to work with individual municipalities in comparing municipal codes and approaches to the common concerns. The CAC chair is in contact with the Environmental Leaders Learning Alliance. The CAC members contribute their valuable time, varied perspectives, and interests in serving the town on this volunteer committee. While we don't always agree, each member remains committed to considering what is best for Lewisboro, and we are fortunate and more effective because of that participation in this. And that was submitted by John Wolf.
Amazing work.
Yes.
Nice job. Give that woman a bottle of water.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mary.
Well, they do good work.
Tony, did you want me to do this, this note here as part of the communications?
Yeah, why don't you do that?
All
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
so we did receive forwarded from Sustainable Westchester, a note from a resident, Ronald Fuchs, and pardon the pronunciation, just in acknowledging the power program. He said, "Dear Westchester Power, I'm a Lewisboro resident, and I just want to thank the Lewisboro councilman who set this up." It's not one councilman, but it was because of our town supervisor, Tony Gonsalves, making this really easy that I'm switching. I've been living in Lewisboro for 17 years, and by default, I've used NYSEG as my electric supplier. I'll just note that we've had a lot of people switch over. It should be noted, the program is not a guaranteed savings program. It can't be. We don't know what NYSEG is going to charge next month, in any firm way. But that said, NYSEG prices have gone up to 20 cents this month. They've been consistently higher than the 10.2 cents for the green rate and the 8.7 rate for the standard. So it is an option for people anyway, if they make their judgment and then see that might be a place for them to be at this point in time. So it's nice to at least see somebody benefiting from that.
Yeah, thanks for that, Dan. I've actually had people also call and mention that they've been satisfied with, especially now in light of the rates.
Yeah,
Where they are today.
it's pretty stressful.
But to your point, no guarantees. I mean, NYSEG rates can drop.
The market could change. Right. So right now, it's looking
Right.
Excuse my ignorance on this, but the Public Service Commission, does that have any role? I always thought that rates had to be, proposed increases had to be,
That's,
or that only.
on
certain
the
contexts?
distribution side,
Delivery.
on the distribution side of the bill, which is the, all of the infrastructure to get the power to you, that's always with the utility. And that has to undergo a rate making process where the stakeholders make comments up at the PSC, and they finally haggle out a rate or an increase, based on the new infrastructure that has to go in, et cetera, et cetera. On the power side of the bill, if you're with NYSEG, they basically do that. They take it off of the market, and there's a tiny sliver of a processing fee that's in there, but they basically take what comes
It's a
off of the
pass-through.
market, right? It's a
Right.
pass through. So when you switch and go to a private supplier, say even before there was Westchester Power, you could sign up with a private supplier, and they'll lock you in on that side of the energy side, which is to say the source of your electricity as opposed to the infrastructure part that's you. So that part is market based. If you're with the NYSEG, it's coming out of the essentially the New York ISO market. And if you're with a supplier, they're going out into the market and locking in prices. So it's separate. That's not part of the PSC negotiated piece.
Thank you, Dan. Next is the consent agenda. So a motion to approve the consent agenda, which includes the minutes of November 21st, November 28th, and December 5th, and the monthly reports provided by the building department and police department. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Okay, new business. The first item is it's a resolution authorizing the planning board to consider and act upon 65 Old Bedford Road LLC's request for partial release of performance bond for guarantee of completion of project infrastructure. So I'll read the letter that was sent to myself and the town board. This is the old Golden's Bridge former community house on 65 Old Bedford Road, which was sold by the town to an individual who then converted it to 4 market rate rentals. Dear Supervisor Gonsalves and members of the town board, again, this is a letter from the planning board from Janet Anderson, the chair. I submit this letter on behalf of the planning board in connection with a request by 65 Old Bedford Road LLC for the partial release of a performance security held by the town guaranteeing completion of infrastructure associated with the above referenced project. Specifically, I requested that the town board authorize the planning board to conduct a public hearing and act upon this request. The performance security is in the form of a cash deposit held by the town in the sum of $46,351. This security was submitted to the town in accordance with a condition of the planning board's site development plan approval for this project, which was the conversion of the former Golden Bridge Community House into a multifamily dwelling. This approval is set forth in a resolution adopted by the planning board on June 19th, 2020, which states in part, the applicant shall supply a performance bond or the form of security to guarantee completion of project infrastructure in a sum approved by the town engineer based on a cost estimate to be prepared by the applicant's design engineer. The form of the bond or performance security shall be acceptable to the planning board attorney. Should be accepted to the planning board attorney, period. The delivery and acceptance of the security does not relieve the applicant of the obligation to complete the project infrastructure. Said bond or performance security shall provide for project infrastructure to be completed within 24 months of commencement of work and for the retention by the town of 10% of the originally fixed amount for a period of 1 year after the certificate of occupancy has been issued. A certificate of occupancy for the multifamily residence has been issued. Consequently, the return of 90% of this deposit, equaling $41,715.90, is sought. The planning board seeks authorization from the town board to hear and decide this request because of the nature and purpose of this security. Do I have a second on that motion
To allow the planning
Allow-
board to have a public hearing on the issue of returning the security, the 90% of the deposit.
as stated by Councilwoman Angier?
I'll second. Am I making the motion? Or am I seconding?
I think you just made the motion.
I made the motion.
I'll
Second, okay, all in favor?
So
Discussion?
discussion?
Yeah,
Can I
sorry.
just get clarification, if any is needed from Greg? We're authorizing them to hold a hearing. Does that necessarily imply they're, that they say, yes, go forward, and then they can authorize the release of it, or?
I've always been confused by how your code reads here. Typically, the town board ultimately authorizes the release of security.
That's
So
what-
that would be like.
That's here in the last line, so it's you authorizing to hear and decide this request.
So how about
They were-
authorizing the release subject to satisfactory,
Well, they're gonna conduct a public hearing and they're gonna make a recommendation whether 90% should be released and then.
And then it's gonna come back.
And then it comes back to us again.
okay, so we're just authorizing the hearing.
That's what I
Okay.
said.
Yeah.
All right,
I thought we
Fine,
just released
I'm
the
good.
funds that I've never seen the public hearing and then comes back. I thought we just released the
Usually
funds
public
upon
hearing
approval.
first, without the consent, and then there's a recommendation that comes to the board for whatever partial release or full release or reduction.
Okay,
okay, so, that's it for discussion. Vote away.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the second item is resolution approving the employee assistance program agreement and authorizing a supervisor to sign. Somebody want to make that motion?
So moved.
Discussion? Or do I have a second?
second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Next is the approval of Bayfield Sanitation LLC's application to collect and dispose of refuse and recyclables. So the motion is to approve Bayfield Sanitation LLC's application to collect and dispose of refuse and recyclables in town. Do I have a second?
Their insurance papers. Oh,
It's a
okay.
renewal, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so we already have a
Package.
certificate of insurance. So move.
Did I get a second? All right, okay, second.
You seconded.
I second, okay. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next item is setting a public hearing for volunteer first responders property tax exemption for January 23rd, 2023. So we have a public hearing set on that date for the seniors increased income limits for tax exemption.
And disabled.
And disabled, seniors and disabled, right. Now, we already have, this is a new state law that allows volunteers to be exempt from taxation to the extent of up to 10% the assessed value of such property for city, village, town, or city, village, town, or town. After public hearing, pass a local law. So we have an existing exemption
Correct.
for the volunteers,
Correct, but this
Volunteer
enhances it
firefighters.
with
firefighters and ambulance, first responders, yeah, volunteer, LVAC.
this enhances it on certain terms under RPTL 466A. So what you basically would be doing would be opting in or not to have those eligible individuals and their spouses in the circumstances be entitled to this enhanced exemption of up to 10% on the primary residence. Okay, so
Right.
you could set the public hearing for it. All right, draft a law, and then you can consider whether that's something you want to.
Question, you mentioned as far as eligibility, is there a threshold to be eligible as far as certain level of participation during the course of the calendar year?
There's a certain level of experience you have to have as in the status as a volunteer firefighter. I think of 3 years to be eligible to begin with is actually a lifetime after 20 years of service that you'd be entitled to. Like I said, the section of law, it's pretty straightforward.
And according to this, it says that the governing body, meaning us, shall establish a minimum service requirement for each applicant between 2 years of service and 5 years of service. I think currently we have in the books 5 years. The current exemption. And then for those who accrue more than 20 years of active service, shall be granted a 10% exemption as authorized by the section,
Just
the remainder of his or her life.
that's what I was picking up. There's the active service component. Each year, there's certain like
Mhm.
hourly participation. Or is that set by the department?
I don't think it's.
I don't think,
hourly.
yeah, it's not hourly, it's just,
Annual. But
yeah. Annual, how many years of volunteerism, right, that you're a volunteer?
I don't think it's based on whether you're, an exterior or interior qualified firefighter, or how many calls you go on. It's just.
How many years you serve as a
Yeah,
volunteer?
served.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in the fire department that serve more in an administrative capacity due to age or physical ability. They're still there volunteering, but they don't put out fires.
Right,
So to speak.
Yeah, no,
They may put out financial fires.
Hopefully not.
so the motion is to set a public hearing. So November 23rd,
That would be great, but my understanding is we don't even have a draft of a local law to
right,
to
so,
publish yet. So how do we set a date without,
You'd only have to publish 5 days before the hearing.
Oh.
So that's something I can get to.
so we
Janet.
still have enough time?
You do.
your drafting timetable is adequate.
It's-
All right, I'll move.
I think I'm gonna do it. this
Or
week.
second.
second. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
So they're really gonna be 3 public hearings.
Right.
We'll do it
Yeah.
on senior, we'll do it on disabled people. We'll do it on the volunteer firefighters. That way you're not.
But I want to see what, how this differs from what we already have.
It's definitely slightly different. You have the lifetime exemption already in there. for
Yeah.
20 years. But the minimum service requirements, I think are different, but I'll be happy to get it.
I think that may be the change, because I think right now we have 5 years and it's
5
the options are 2 to 5.
We can alter if there's a change.
Yeah,
Worst
Okay.
case scenario, if there's nothing that we want to change, then leave it be. We can withdraw.
So I'll keep it separate. That way, if you're in favor of one
Right.
or both of the other 2, that the law doesn't fall because you're not in favor of.
and we'll give the respective fire departments an opportunity to also speak to the matter.
I'm sure they'll come out.
Yeah,
Okay, I guess.
I have an add-on, that was not on the agenda. This is for, a resolution to rescind the award of the bid, for tree service, tree removal that we had previously passed for alpine tree services. So we're gonna rescind that and go out to bid again.
And this is with the reduced insurance requirements, right? Is that,
The bid specs will be changed. What happens with all of the bidders, you had numbers, and then when it came time to submit the insurance requirements for the low bidder, they couldn't meet them,
yes,
and we couldn't modify them like that from the bid specs for one. So the alternative would just be to cancel it, to rescind it. The bid specs have been rewritten so that there's a slightly lower threshold for the insurance, and now you should be able to get bidders who meet spec.
yeah, my
Right.
understanding was a lot of those bidders, the cost of the insurance was cost prohibitive for the job.
Right.
And this just remove
4 trees to take that trees and cut away.
taking down trees.
Yeah, so we had approved up to a certain dollar amount. It was something around 50 to 70 trees.
Okay, so that's for new work
New work,
essentially.
right.
All right, so for the material that's at the site,
Yeah, we
Salt,
have the
okay.
paperwork ready. I'm gonna work with Janet. We're going to go out to bid on that. Hopefully
Okay.
This week we'll finalize that,
Separate apart
Okay.
from this that we just.
That's
spoke about,
separate,
there's gonna
yeah.
Be another,
which we had already approved. This is the
good,
lease
that's what I thought.
agreement.
Okay.
Yeah, which we had approved. It's just-
yeah, so on that material removal, I was wondering if,
Yeah,
by breaking it up, since the Brookfield or whoever they are up in New Fairfield,
Mhm.
just basically already has a unit rate set out,
yeah,
that you basically could just get a unit rate for trucks worth of material.
our
And
trucks.
that's, well, no, I mean, if we can't use our trucks because, Pete said they're not appropriate.
Right,
So fine, you're gonna have to contract for basically cubic yards of material moved,
Mhm,
transported.
right.
That way you're reducing the scope as much as possible.
Yeah.
We already know what it costs on the other end. Just a thought
Yeah.
in terms of trying to really.
Were they,
have
so I
control.
read through that, but I thought they were basically a site that we can take the material to.
Correct, that's
But they-
right.
But they also pick up?
No, I'm saying,
We
well,
have
we-
to-
on our side,
Well, that's what I
we
said.
would
Okay.
just restrict our contract to like, it's
Hauler.
take,
somebody
yeah,
gonna
that's right,
haul. Yeah.
taking this, the capability
Yeah.
to pick this up
Okay.
and bring it over there.
Right.
That way they aren't building in extra
Mhm, mhm.
margins for,
Right.
we're getting paid for disposing of it when,
Right.
The thought, I'm not,
Okay.
or maybe you could actually go out and bid on
Yeah.
both schemes and then you'll
Right.
see whether or not it works out better or
Okay.
not,
I'm assuming that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spoke briefly to Peter Rippinger after we saw your email about that. So yeah, we
Yeah.
definitely need to.
Right, I didn't realize this was about new tree work, so that was
Mhm, mhm.
confusing.
Right.
Too. Okay,
So let's see. So this is, yeah, that's it for the new business. So now we. Take a vote on it?
We didn't vote.
Oh, we didn't vote on it. That's right. I'm jumping ahead. So we have to vote on it. So, so I'll make the motion to rescind the award of bid and authorizing rebid for rebid.
Fall tree removal.
Fall of tree, fall of tree removal?
It was. Tree removal was actually.
Fall tree removal, okay. Fall tree, yeah,
Autumn
yeah,
tree removal, that was the contract.
contract,
Winter.
yeah. So, right, so motion to rescind the award of bid and authorize a rebid of the fall tree removal contract.
Do we have to do a roll call? Is that why that's not like that?
I would do it, roll call on this one.
Okay, so do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call, Andrea.
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
Me, yes. Dan?
yes,
Mary?
Yes.
And then we have the second motion for the second. we putting-
Do we need to put a second motion for the,
No,
For the,
put it out to bid for the hall? or the-
No, that's-
the pile that's already there?
no, that's.
it's already out there, we voted.
Yeah,
we already
we're-
voted on it.
Yeah, that, yeah.
Got it.
Excellent.
Follow up on that one. Okay. So next we have public comment. So anybody here in the audience? Would like to comment?
Please remain behind the velvet rope.
don't crowd us.
Behind the white line.
There's nobody here.
Anybody on Zoom?
Yes.
Okay.
So Simone Petromelis. I'm asking you to unmute.
Hi, can you hear me? Because the audio's been awful. Okay.
Yes.
I'm very concerned that this board, with the exception of Andrea Rendo, just freely voted to give a non-elected person a new title with new powers. It sounds like a promotion to me. And why chief of staff when you barely have a staff? It's just a little odd. Tony, you were the only board member to vote for and receive a raise as the town supervisor. Why wouldn't you be able to do the job and make meetings or reschedule them or have an elected board member attend them? I have a problem with somebody who wasn't elected running meetings. And that leads me to my next question. Who exactly is running this town? You were voted in by the taxpayers and residents of this town, not your secretary or chief of staff. And now I'm going to ask you something. I have said I didn't believe it, but now I'm just going to ask you. I've been told by no less than 11 people that you, our town supervisor, who gave a raise, a $4,000 stipend, and now a promotion to your former confidential secretary, that you're in a relationship with her. Please set the record straight.
That's really incredible you say that.
I'm not saying it. I'm asking you to set the record straight. I didn't believe it, but I think you need to set the record straight.
I'll send the record straight right now. That's completely false.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
Is that it, Simone?
That is it. Thank you.
Next, I'm asking Carol Cernak to unmute.
Hi, Carol Cernak, Farview Farm, South Salem, New York, 10590. My first concern is the chief of staff appointment. I've already been, I asked a question to Andrea and she's already answered of whether or not this title changes her, benefits, her pension, her retirement, or her longevity benefits. And I was told no by her. So I'm glad to hear that, but I still wonder why this new title. I don't understand it. There has to be a purpose for it. It's questionable. The second thing is the building inspector. I'd like to hear an update on the progress of finding a building inspector instead of paying this engineering company 50% of the building fees. It doesn't make any sense. My third question is the timber pile at the salt dome. Apparently, it sounds, based on what Dan was saying, is that you've been working on this. I'm very, very disappointed that you all haven't kept me in contact in the loop on this. As I'm the one who brought this to your attention. And also the timber pile removal started as one pile and now almost and takes up the whole site at that location at the salt dome, and it was not included in the highway department's budget. I asked about that, it was never answered. The fourth question is the cemetery reparations. As far as I can see, those have not been done. Those were included in the 2022 budget. And I don't think I heard anything on this upcoming budget. The mulch piles that were supposedly removed by Hickory Homes and Tommy Gossett, seems to me that the large portion was just pushed up against the tree trunks at the cemetery, which are going to kill those trees. And just like to have some transparency, open conversation. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Carol. And that's it, Tony.
Thank you. All right, so,
I have one more.
one more, okay.
Letitia, I'm asking you to unmute.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to wish you all a happy new year and hopefully we can have a great year this year.
Happy New
Happy New Year
Year.
to you, Letitia.
Thank you.
Thank you, Letitia.
Okay. We don't have claims to approve. Do we? Oh, I missed it then. Okay, I guess I'll abstain. Let's see it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's closing out 2022.
I missed it. If you can, yeah, I mean, it's,
Did you send it to us, Janet? I believe I saw it.
I did not. Cheryl sent it to me.
Oh, right, from Sharon. Okay.
she sent it to, when was this, Friday?
It was Friday.
Friday was the email about the dome.
Oh, I meant to ask her today about it because I didn't, but then.
Do we have a time issue with anything that we can roll it into the 23rd?
Well, I knew that she was gonna get this out because it includes some end of year things that needed to be approved. Let's see.
Okay, so then the answer is yes, okay.
I believe so.
I don't see it either.
I'm not.
Did you see it?
No.
Did anybody here see it? Dan,
I'm looking right now.
I remember
So
seeing
we-
emails from Cheryl, but that wasn't the one that.
Unless it was
That
time.
was related to the trees.
Trees, yeah.
She stuck it in.
Yeah, and I.
Is there any urgency on approving it tonight, or can it be held over to the next meeting?
I think we,
Check should be sent out tomorrow.
Yeah.
So the answer is no, so you should forward it to us.
so according to
Yeah,
us, then
please.
we can do a special meeting.
Or give it an exam.
We'll do an executive. Can't do an
We
executive session.
can do it after executive
If you come
session.
out.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay, so yeah.
So, yeah, so why don't you just, yes.
So we just table that and we'll just take care of it.
Okay, yes.
So motion to table the approval of claims until after executive session.
Discussion all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let's see, polling of the board. So with Dan.
I guess, good New Year to everybody, and the only thing I've got maybe is just to remind that the steering, the comprehensive plan, you've got it, you want to just read that off there? I'll just pass it on to you then.
Okay.
I'll read the Chinese one for you though.
Do you want me to go?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So last night I had the opportunity to be invited to, I guess, a work session of residents of the Vista Hamlet who are starting to put together ideas and plans and suggestions to submit to the master plan, the comprehensive plan steering committee. And they asked me a few questions. And, talking around town and realizing that there's still many people that don't know that these things are going on and that their input is very much wanted and very much needed. So just so everyone knows, I did reach out to Ms. McGinn and she sent me, no, this is not the email. Email. It is. So Katie McGinn said, this is how you can help. Please help us communicate that there are 3 different opportunities to participate in this first round of meetings. First round, while the first in-person version is Saturday, January 21st. There are flyers around town and on the website. So it's Saturday, January 21st from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. in the John Jay High School cafeteria. When you go there, there's going to be documentation to fill out. There'll be questions answered, people to ask questions to help you fill out the documentations so that you can make your contribution to the master plan and all the work that the steering committee is doing to help us get our end result that they're hoping for. So the first in-person meeting, again, is Saturday, January 21st. Then there will be 2 virtual opportunities. On Monday, February 6th, Thursday, February 9th. These will cover the same content, so those who can't appear in person can attend one of these sessions, get the same information, and the survey will be available for anyone who can't attend any of the sessions. All the information is available on the website, which is basically, if you go to the town website and you click on committees, you'll see the comprehensive I need coffee. Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee drop-down menu. And you click on it and you go there and you will see this flyer, which outlines when all the meetings are. Read it very carefully. There's lots of different languages included, so you have to read through it to find the information that you want. And in addition to that, it has all their reports. It has their outreach plan and everything that you might want to know about having to do with the development of this plan. So I invite you to visit the town website and click on the Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee's drop-down menu. Those of you who still have questions, please send an email to steering@planlewisboro.com. That's steering@planlewisboro.com. Especially if you want to be added to the email list or you have questions or concerns. So thank you. I posted the link to the website page and a copy of this flyer on my Councilwoman Facebook page, as well as on my Instagram page. And it is, of course, again, on the town website. So thank you. And it was really fun working with everyone and listening to the ideas that Vista or the residents of Vista are thinking about.
We just
And Happy New Year.
remind them that there's actually childcare also.
Oh, yes. There will be childcare available and there will be crafts and things in addition.
Yeah, the childcare is provided by Country Children's Center, which has a location in Vista as well. So there's professional staff involved in that. And so we hope that no one feels that, because of some difficulty in arranging childcare that they can't fully participate in the planning session, so. Fully accessible.
Thank you. Okay. Rich,
Yes. Happy New Year. Happy and healthy New Year, 2023, everyone. It's Martin Luther King Day coming up this Monday. Celebration federal holiday. Martin Luther King's legacy. We get reports which we talk about. The agenda, we review planning board, building department as well as police department reports each month. I just wanted to point out that even with the challenges we've had with the building department in 2022, the revenue was just short of what it was in 2021. And that was actually a few $100,000 ahead of where it was in 2020. So the point I want to bring out that in 2021 and 2022, the building department's revenue was extremely strong, just under 1.1 million in 2022, just over 1.1 million in 2021. So we've been navigating through some difficult waters, but having the building department continue to do its job and generate revenue on behalf of the
that's Rich. Barry?
The Lewisboro Library is having a Taste of Town raffle backed by popular demand. You can buy tickets by going to the Lewisboro Library website. And please check out their website because they will be having a volunteer fair at the beginning of February. So it will be in person rather than on Zoom this year. So go to the library and see all the different ways that you can volunteer. I will be there representing the town and with a list of all the different places where you can volunteer here in the town of Lewisboro. And there will be other nonprofits and other volunteer groups who will be there, like the Lewisboro Volunteer Ambulance Corps, as well as the fire departments. And the Parks and Rec Department will be holding a wine and cheese social for new residents, and that will be on Sunday, February 26th from 4 to 6 p.m. at On a True Farmhouse. For more details, please check lewisbororecreation.com for details, and there's a link to sign up as well. And I also wish everyone a happy new year. The Lunar New Year is coming up as well, and I look forward to finding a service project so I can help make a difference on Martin Luther King Day.
Thanks, Mayor. Okay, yeah, happy New Year, everyone. Just a couple of things. So we went through our organizational meeting, and I just want to point out a couple of people who have provided many years of service to the town, starting with Greg Monteleone for 11 years of service as a member and chair of the Open Space and Preserves Advisory Committee. So thank you, Greg, for your past service, and looking forward to continued work with you in one capacity or another in the future. And also
great chairperson.
Yes,
Just
he was
amazing.
a great, absolutely. Yep. And on the planning board, we have Greg LaSorsa, who left us at the end of last year. So thank you, Greg, for your years of service in the planning board. So obviously that opens up a spot. So anyone out there that wants to join our planning board, please send us your, reach out to us, and we'll consider you for the position.
Just wanted to second my thanks to Greg, having had the opportunity to serve with him on the planning board for my 3 years there. It was an honor and a pleasure to serve with him. I want to thank him for his service to the Lewisboro community in that role, as he's had in many other roles.
Thank you,
Okay.
Greg.
One other Still working.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, the other thing I want to mention, the building department. So, thanks, Rich, for the synopsis on how they're doing financially in terms of the revenue coming in. But I just want to share some data. So from November 30th through till yesterday, we have issued 55 permits and 48 certificates of occupancy and certificates of compliance, which is a pretty good month's work, a little over a month. Working in this hybrid model where we have outside plan reviewers, we have LaBelle Engineering helping us out with inspections. And just a quote came from the office itself, from one of the administrators. We have reduced our application backlog considerably and have also reduced our permitting lead time from months to weeks. So if you recall, we had many applications that were taking months to process, and now we're down to processing those applications within weeks. Many of the applications that are coming in today electronically are being processed in days, within days in some cases, as long as they are completed applications and not missing any information. So the solution that we put in place, again, temporary. Thank you very much to the town board members for allowing us to do this, and it's been working. So kudos to everyone who are involved. Our plan reviewers, the folks at LaBelle Engineering, Linda Uris and Kara Sullivan in the office. In terms of there was another data point here. Yeah, the inspections. Many people reached out to me, or several people, wanting to know what's going on with the inspections. So they are taking place daily and without interruption. So anyone that's out there that has any issues currently, feel free to reach out to me and we'll get your issues resolved, whether it's waiting for an inspection or application that you haven't heard back from. And regarding the chief of staff title, so I just want to, just a few things. The confidential secretary is a very old title, 1970s title. The trend today is to move away from that. Many municipalities, including very similar towns to ours, have already done that. And it's something that I never liked the title when I got here, and the confidential secretary title. So this was my choice to make that change. It actually came up in a supervisor's meeting. It was a topic of discussion. So I learned more about that and what the title really means. So I'm looking forward to having someone in this office with that 21st century title. And it's part of the modernization that I'm looking for to have here in Lewisboro. So that's my just brief on that topic. So thank you all very much for coming out tonight.
Did you want to mention the fact that we're in the process of hiring someone?
Yeah, for the building, yeah. So we do have we had to go through civil service again to recanvass for the building inspector. We have a short list and we're going to be making a decision fairly quickly. So we will have a full-time building inspector, hopefully sooner than later. Thank you. Okay, so with that, let's see, our next meeting is on January 23rd, 2023 at 7:30 p.m. at the Townhouse here, 11 Main Street, South Salem. So now I'd like to motion to go into executive session for personnel discussions and interviews. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.